All right, well, good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen that are watching both the live stream and also coming back and watching the recorded replay or the archived replay of my Old Guy Farms single player challenge. This is episode number 9, So this represents our 9th game day that we are participating in this challenge. And so this should be the second day of summer if my calculations are correct. We still have $232,000 in the bank. We've made primarily most of this through logging, and we've played for 9 hours and 39 minutes for the challenge. So we will go ahead and continue. And we don't need to change anything. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for hanging out there. We don't need to change anything with regards to mods right now. So we will go ahead and get into the game. And just so everyone knows, part of the rules of the challenge itself are that we start and stop our streams at the loading screen like that. So that's why normally if I were recording a video or if I were doing a live stream, I would probably already be in game. But it's just kind of part of the challenge and part of the criteria and everything. So that's why we do that. And we're going to go after some eggs now. And what we should have done is when we were downtown earlier in yesterday's episode, we kind of went down and bought some liquid fertilizer because we needed just a smidge more fertilizer to finish up our fields. We should have basically bought we should have sold those eggs is what we should have done, is what I'm trying to say. So one thing that kind of helps the with Seasons mod and with maintenance, vehicle maintenance, and all that kind of stuff is, good morning, Simon. Thanks for hanging out there for another round of live play here. Is obviously cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness, right? Is that what they say? So we should probably consider buying a pressure washer. So let's just take a look here. I've got one that I had been using on Mountain Valley Farm, and it's a mod, and so I think we will, let's see, 3,500. I kind of like this one because I like the concept that it is sort of gasoline powered, and this one here is more expensive anyway. So as long as mods are not extremely rudely cheap, we can basically use them. Where can I place this guy? Can I place it there? That's kind of, I wanted to put it right there. Can I do that? Hang on. All right, we'll just put it right there, I suppose. Anyway, there that is. So we will have that to wash up our vehicles and everything. And like I said, cleanliness, if the vehicles are cleaner, the daily maintenance costs, because the seasons mod controls our daily maintenance costs and everything as well. So the cleaner and the better running our vehicles are, ultimately the less that they cost us sort of per day. Okay, so that's just something for, if you guys are going to play with Seasons mod, and I hope you are, because it certainly is a game changer. I love it. Most everyone that has tried it also feels the same way. Has a better sound than the annoying scream of the electric one. Amen. Yeah, a little bit more realistic. You know, it's kind of a, I suppose, a gasoline pressure washer, and that's all good there. So we're going to start our day today, much like we ended the stream yesterday, because I tell you what, I forgot to clean up after our animals yesterday, and I think that may have cost us just a little bit, because obviously their productivity went crashing down, and I don't think that we got any wool produced. And you've got to, your wool producing time frame is the spring. Now I will say that I was pretty darn good about looking after things in the spring, and I think we cleaned about twice a day during the spring, if memory serves me correctly. And so Yeah, much better sounding stuff than that electric whine. But anyway, we've got, looks like we're probably going to get 2 pallets of wool out of this before essentially our sheep stop producing wool, because obviously sheep do not produce wool in the as much wool in the summer as they do in the spring, and obviously they stop producing wool at some point in the summer, and they won't produce any more wool until next spring. All right. So, weather forecast. Look at the weather forecast. We've got sunny today, and we've got sunny tomorrow, and we've got rain on Thursday. Guess what? We probably could do on Thursday, but we may not be able to do on Thursday. We could probably harvest on Thursday, but we may not be able to because it looks like it's going to rain. So let's just go over here and take a look at our crop situation. So looks like our crops, our 3 fields here, 12, 14, and 15, are in the final growth stage. Maybe if we're lucky, they'll come in late summer. And then of course field number 24 down here, it's a little bit behind because this is soybeans, and we can't plant soybeans until a certain point in time when our soil temperatures come up. So everything is fully fertilized, and we're good to go there. So as let me think. Let me just hang on. Wrong button. Let me look at this here. Hello, Orange Mojo. Welcome to the stream this morning. We're not going to buy a harvester today. I'm just kind of looking at prices. And I need to do a little bit more thinking on whether or not we're going to actually consider renting a harvester or potentially buying a harvester. And let me go up here on the hill for a second. I wanted to see if I thought we had some more room. I think we do. I think we've got room to put a couple of more greenhouses up this way. I know it kind of looks kind of stupid to have them here, maybe. But at the same time, I wasn't really planning on expanding this field this direction. And so I think it might benefit us now that we've worked really hard and we've cut some trees down. We're probably going to do some more tree cutting today, quite honestly with you, because I don't know what else that we could do other than that. I'm not going to waste time grinding stumps right now because I don't think it would be the best use of our time. So let's see, lettuce, greenhouse. Let's that's spinning me around. What's the, hang on, bring up my F1 menu so I can see what my controls are here. Certainly don't want to plop that thing down by mistake. So Q and E, okay, so Q. Let's rotate this guy around and let's put down 2 more greenhouses. Kind of along this area here. That looks good there. And then that looks good there. All right. So 2 more greenhouses bought and paid for. So let's fill them up. Get rid of the F1 menu. Even though this is episode number 9, and this is basically the 9th live stream that I have, sort of played on this map, on this challenge and everything, I still get a little bit nervous when I'm sort of thinking about something. The clock is ticking, and time is money and all that kind of stuff. And regardless of all of that, it's still time is ticking away, and we only have so much time. So if you guys are looking, if you see a mod that you like that I'm using, obviously this manure buy point is a mod. This bucket is also a mod because it does require a special bucket to be able to buy manure there. It's all on my mod spreadsheet, so you can get to that information by going to grizzlybearsims.com. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I do as well, Orange Mojo, and I will tell you that if the situation were any different, if this were a map that I was going to be playing, where I was going to be doing a Let's Play series on this, I would be really picky about how these placeables looked. Oops, I do not want to touch my crop. But sort of with the challenge, I'm just sort of letting all that stuff kind of go out the window a little bit with, you know, sort of also trying to also be as realistic as possible. But, you know, things like that I'm not going to worry too much about. It's convenient having these things together because the other thing that we're going to do next, basically next season, is when we harvest these fields, we are essentially going to use the manure mod, and we're going to basically spread manure over the fields, and with the manure mod we're going to get a ×2 manure fertilization off that, and then that will basically count as 2 applications of fertilizer with just 1 effort of doing so. So it'll cost money obviously to get the manure spreader, but that's okay, and then we can spray with liquid fertilizer. So that's done. So now we need to go back and get the tractor with the water and see how fast time goes. I mean, it's literally this stream has been going for 13 minutes and we are already at 7:30 in the morning. So that's what I mean. Blink a few times and time has already escaped you. I try to limit my tabbing between vehicles as much as possible. So that's why sometimes I do tab into vehicles, sometimes I do not. It just kind of depends. We need to go and get some more water. But I want to just say and suggest to you all that obviously I appreciate you watching my stream. I honestly do. When you get to know me a little bit better, you will realize that I'm one of those guys, probably like yourself. I'm a man you know, I'm a man for my words, or whatever they say. I mean, when I say something, I mean it. But I do appreciate you guys watching my streams. I hope that you will consider watching the other participants, or the other challengers, I should say, and watch their streams. And you can find a list of those guys down below the video screen of my video. There's about 6 or so, I suppose, and we're all doing something a little bit different. There may be some similarities in some ways. In other words, I know that Old Guy Farmer and myself are both doing farming. Farmer Klein is not doing any farming at all, or any traditional farming, so he's not planting wheat and barley and seeding it and fertilizing it and harvesting it and everything. He's not going to do that, or at least he's not doing it the first year. And then Rubber Burner Gaming has the approach, and Rubber Burner was in the stream this morning, the first episode this morning, but Rubber Burner is going after forestry as his main way of making money and earning a living, and all that good kind of stuff. But anyway, check out those other guys. They're working hard as well to compete in the challenge and to entertain you all while doing so, and that really is part of the deal. So we'll get this filled up with some water, get these heads of lettuce growing, and then probably go do some logging again. And my apologies. I'll eventually maybe stop apologizing for repeating a lot of the stuff that I do, but again, it's sort of the nature of the challenge. Our wheat looks good over there. Suppose, in theory, we've got room for maybe one more greenhouse there before it really gets in the way, but I think we'll stick with 4 right now. 4 should bring us somewhere around, I think, around 7,000 or so a day. The Clugino, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. And Orange Mojo says, you're one of my favorite YouTubers because you do live FS17. Good, good, good. Well, thank you so much, Orange Mojo. I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you coming back for these episodes. I do. You're keeping me company, man, and that is cool. All right, so we're going to just park that tractor here because, well, we don't need it. We don't need to use it anymore. I really think that I made a mistake by buying 2 tractors. I really don't. I don't know that there has been an option, at least since we got rid of the JCB and got rid of the Sammy, where we have actually used both tractors at the same time. I don't think we have. But those are cheap. I mean, those Ford tractors are cheap and cheerful, and there will be a time probably after, maybe after the fall harvest, or definitely maybe next spring, when we're both fertilizing and cultivating. Because to get the manure bonus with the manure mod, you basically have to cultivate that in. So if you just throw manure, if you spread manure on the field, you're going to get 1 fertilizer bonus, and then when you cultivate it in, that's when you get the 2nd. So we will definitely do that. Morning Grizzly, Ray Fulford says, morning Grizzly, how are you this Saturday? I am doing fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for asking. It's, I suppose any morning that I wake up and as George Burns would say, when he wakes up in the morning and he doesn't see and smell candles, he considers that to be a pretty awesome day. And I think, of course, we're talking about the fact that he's not seeing and smelling candles burning potentially at his funeral. I know that's a little bit of a morbid thought, but anyway, George Burns was quite the comedian. And if you are an older gentleman like myself, and of course I will be 51 this October, then you know who George Burns is. Maybe if you're a young person, you may not know who he is, or you may do. I don't know. Maybe you do know who he is. Where do we want to? Do we want to go up into this area, or do we want to go over here? That looks like a corn. We don't have any corn for Mary's farm. I'll tell you what. Let's go over here. Orange Mojo says, I'm glad there is such a thing as notifications. Yeah, when they work, notifications are awesome. They don't always work, though. And I think there's a gold nugget right over there as well. So we will take the time to grab that. I think that's going to be about our 4th or 5th gold nugget. Let's go do that right quick. Our 5th gold nugget. Yay. Yay for gold nuggets. Because gold nuggets are cool, because gold nuggets will bring us $1 million. And one of the things that now Farmer Klein, he has already found his gold nuggets. I don't know what episode he did that on, but it was an episode that I watched of his yesterday on his archived recorded play. So he's already done that. But I do know that Farmer Klein is a disciplined man, and I know that he's not going to go out and blow it all on silly stuff. And I'm a fairly disciplined kind of guy as well, but I've got other things that I want to do that I think will make us money. I think logging is doing pretty well for filling in some of the time gaps until our harvest is ready. And so that's kind of why we're doing this. And I know this is like the 3rd or 4th time that we have logged, considering that I almost never log. period on any of my recorded or live stream stuff. I know that it's a bit of a stretch, but it's a good money maker. It's going to help us fill the time in quite well, and so that's why we're doing it as I run into the tree. Now, of course, we don't own this land here, but we have been granted permission from the county to go in and clear these trees, and so eventually, if you're watching my Mountain Valley Farm series, you know that I did a lot of forestry off camera, because obviously I had to go in and clear and define all those fields before we could even plant anything, and did all that. And so you know that I will be coming around and planting some of those trees back. That is kind of the deal that we made. That's part of the role play or the storyline that we're doing with that series. I'm not going to worry about planting trees back here, just simply because with the Seasons mod, it does take 5 years before a tree is 100% productive or big enough to actually cut and make the max amount of money from it. I think we could harvest them after about 2 years, but I don't think, for me, for my strategy, I don't think that replanting the trees to turn around and try to cut down in 2 or 3 years, 2.5 years, is going to be worth the effort or worth the strategy. Rubber Burner, he did plant some trees. I think what he did was he planted trees in one of his fields that he owns, because right now he's not doing traditional farming. Hello, Sniper Salazar. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. I don't think that Rubber Burner is doing traditional farming right now. He may change his mind. He may get bored cutting trees, and if he does, then obviously that'll be a good thing for him to do a little farming. But he has planted some trees in one of the fields that he owns, and he should get something out of it. Should get a little bit of profit out of it whenever it comes time to harvest those in about maybe 2.5 years time. But I don't think it's going to necessarily work for us that well. All right, I'm just going to continue doing this. Just kind of rinse and repeat is kind of the word, not the word of the day. So don't get excited, folks, that I'm going to announce the word of the day so soon in the stream. But I will tell you what the word of the day is, the official word of the day, anyways. So the word of the day, what am I talking about? Especially if you are new to my stream. And by the way, if you are new to my stream, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button. And even if you aren't new to my stream, hit the like button. Let's see how many likes that we can get going there. But if you are new to my stream, I am running a contest that is independent of the challenge and everything in and of itself. But the contest is I'm giving away 3 copies of the new upcoming Farm Sim 17 Platinum Expansion DLC pack that will be coming out in November. And so each of these episodes that I'm doing, which are all live streams, there'll be 72 of them. Each of these will essentially, pending that you listen, you watch them and you listen for the code word or the word of the day that I will provide, and I'll do that here momentarily. If you listen to that code word and then you follow the instructions down below the video screen, then you can enter, and I will enter your name into a drawing. And again, if you listen and watch all 72 episodes of this series, and of course this is episode number 9, so we still have a long ways to go. And but if you listen to all of them, you'll be entered 72 times. And of course, the more you watch, the more you listen, the better chances you're going to have of winning. For this contest, it has to be set for 6 days per season, Chris Webb. Yeah, that's right. So 6 days per season, and also we have to play at 15x speed. So that has been potentially the biggest challenge for me, is getting comfortable with the fact that time literally flies by. um, in this gameplay. If you are, regardless of whether you're used to playing with the Seasons mod, you may be new to the Seasons mod, and but regardless of that, just the sheer fact that we're playing at 15x speed, try that sometime. I would be interested to hear, you know, how it makes you feel. I mean, think about the fact that time is ticking. We've been streaming for 26 minutes, and we are, it's what, almost 11 o'clock in the morning. So we started at 4 something. So time literally goes by really quick. And as I've said before, you know, I often enjoy sort of thinking strategic about, you know, if I'm going to purchase a tractor, for example, I will stare at that purchase store screen and think about, okay, this tractor has this such a horsepower, and it will allow me to do this, and it will allow me to do that, and it will be a good purchase, and you know, maybe in a little bit of time I can upgrade that tractor. I can't spend that amount of time thinking about it, because if I do that, then guess what? Half the day has flown by. And so we have, excuse me, we have done quite well with selling wood. In just a minute, I will look to see just how many trees we have cut down total. I would estimate, if I had to guess right now, I would say that we have cut down, we've probably driven over about half as many as we've cut down, but I would say that we've probably cut down I'd say we've cut down about 200 and I'd say we've cut down about 225 trees. We've driven over about 100 of them. But let's take a look and see. What screen is that on here? Oh, only 166. Wow, I'm off. Only 12 trees this this session. Okay, well, 166 trees. Coming up on closing the door on 200, I suppose. But anyway, we have made probably we've made quite a bit of money. Excuse me. I think eventually my Claritin will kick in and help me out with my morning allergies this morning. Let me catch up on the, let's see, 15x speed, and it can't be changed. Yep, that's right. We can't change the speed. When if you go back and if you watch episode number 1, and you'll need to do that obviously if you want to enter or hear that code word. You know that when I started the gameplay in episode number 1, I basically went in on camera and I set the seasons mod to 6-day seasons, and I also set my speed to 15x speed. And once I did that, I cannot touch that speed again. And so the other element of the challenge obviously is that it has to all be live streamed. And so, you know, you are all my witness. So, you know, you're keeping me honest, and I'm of course an honest guy. So I would, you know, I could be trusted to do this off camera, and I would play it exactly as I'm playing it in front of you all. But you guys are all my witness, and of course, you know, everything is going to be archived on YouTube, so all of the episodes are out there, and of course, hopefully you'll go out there and watch them at your leisure and get those code words of the day so that you can enter into my challenge. I would very much like to have you do that. But anyway, that is sort of the deal. What did you start out with this challenge? Alright, so that was, I gotta say that, you know, I've played some maps. This is the first time I've ever done this in a challenge, okay? I've never done a challenge before like this. And I don't even, I won't be so naive and say that this is the first time anyone has thought up a challenge. I'm sure that there's been other challenges, but anyway. I will say that, you know, sometimes you start off on maps and you don't have a lot of nice equipment, you don't have a lot of big equipment, you don't have anything that has significant value where you can consider selling it. Jerry Ott, Old Guy Farmer, who is the mastermind of both this challenge as well as the responsible for the edit. This is obviously Goldcrest Valley, so Jerry Ott has edited this map in some ways. He gave us a fairly decent size combine with a fairly decent size header and a header trailer. And we started off with the Sammy tractor with a JCB Fast Track, and also with another little tractor that I can't think of the name right now. And we sold all of that. We sold our combine and we sold the header, and that was probably one of the most difficult decisions that I have made, that I've had to convince myself to do, and it was the right decision. But I would have never thought about selling the combine because I knew, playing this series, this challenge, I knew I was going to do traditional farming, so I knew that I was going to need a combine at some particular point in time. And it was a decent combine. You know, I mean, I've sold combines before on maps so that I could quickly upgrade them, because let's face it, I don't really like the really small, tiny combines. So we had a decent combine, so it was quite a convincing matter for me to convince myself to sell it. But it was the right decision, because this is game day number 9, and we have yet to use a combine, and most likely we won't use a combine until probably game day 11 or maybe even 12. So we would have had 10 or 11 or 12 game days where we would have been paying for a combine to set in the barn and not bring us any value at all. And also, I will go so far as to say, cost us each and every one of those 9, 10, or 11, or 12 days, or whatever the daily running cost. This, good morning, CW Hens. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming by this morning. This obviously cost a pretty penny. This was like $315,000 or $317,000, but we are coming up very, very close on paying for this thing. And we have used it, I know, probably too much, but we have used it and been able to benefit from it almost every single day since we've owned it. And it has made us quite a bit of money, as we have, I think this is probably like the 170th tree that we've cut down. And, you know, at the end of the challenge, we will be able to sell everything. So that will be part of our goal, is obviously we will sell everything, including our land. Part of the criteria of the guidelines or of the challenge is that we're going to be able to install the Bank of Hagenstadt mod, which will allow us to sell our fields on the last game day, and then basically sell all of our equipment, sell all of our animals, sell all of our crops, stuff like that. And then the one with the most money wins the challenge. So that is the way that it all works. Is there a way to sell fields? Yeah, the Bank of Hagenstadt mod allows us to sell fields. The Bank of Hagenstadt mod, I believe, is on the Giants Mod Hub. If it's not, it's on my mod spreadsheet. So if you go to grizzlybearsims.com and click on add-ons and mod directory, you'll see a link to where to download it. It also allows you to lease fields. Now we can't lease fields as part of the challenge, but we will install it on the last game day, and that will allow us to sell our fields. So that will be what we will do. So I've already bought one field. We bought a field. Can't think of the name of it right now, but we've bought a field and we've already planted that field with soybeans. So even though we didn't necessarily work really hard to make sure that we did all the missions on the field to get our price and everything lower, we went ahead and bought it because we felt that we wanted to have more fields here on this first year. And then of course, most likely the strategy will be that we will also buy some more fields. I don't think we're not going to buy any more fields this year, just because it's a bit late to be able to plant them. suppose we could buy a field that already had a crop on it if we wanted to, but I think that we will wait until perhaps winter time. We're going to try to do some missions. We can do one mission a day as part of the challenge. And we might even consider doing a mission here this morning during this live stream, perhaps. And the cool thing about the mission is during a mission, while we're playing right now at 15x speed, during a mission it does slow things back down to 1x speed. So while we're playing the mission, you might think, and this was the thing that I had forgot about, and I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to do any missions at all because while I'm doing a mission, time is flying by and that's just not going to work for me. But missions do slow our time down, and so we can do a mission and not have to feel like we're wasting time. We don't want to do that. Let's see. Isaiah Clear, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. Orange Mojo, do you have both doc mods? What is a doc mod? I don't recognize what a doc mod is, so tell me what that is and I'll let you know if I've got it. You mean DLC? Oh, DLC. Yes, I've got all the DLC for Farm Sim 17, and let's go over here and start on this. We'll cut a few more trees and then we'll go sell, and then maybe do a mission if we can find a mission that isn't too time consuming. Like maybe spraying, fertilization, something like that. That might be kind of cool to do. Yeah, I've got both DLC. To be quite honest, I mean, I typically buy the DLCs, even regardless of whether it's something that interests me. But I've got to say that for Farm Sim 17, both of the DLC packs which have been released thus far, so the Coon DLC pack was obviously the first one, and then the Big Bud DLC pack, and even though I've only really used the Big Bud just a little bit, I sort of did a special episode on Lone Star where I was sort of pretending that we were just sort of testing it for the dealership. I have bought it, but I have traditionally purchased DLCs. I've done this for ETS2 and ATS as well, even if it doesn't necessarily interest me, because if I love the game as much as I do Farm Sim, I sort of see it as it's a way of supporting giants, because obviously, you know, for them to spend time developing Farm Sim 19, for example, which we don't even know if it's going to be a Farm Sim 19. We can only assume that based on history, where they release a new episode of Farm Sim every other year, then we can assume that there will be a Farm Sim 19, but we have no ways of guaranteeing that. But anyway, for them to do the research and development and everything for creating Farm Sim 19, it costs money to do that. And they need money coming in to keep the lights on and that kind of stuff. And so that's why they sell DLC packs, one of the reasons. And so that kind of helps keep money coming in at different times of the year. And it's good for us as consumers, especially if we love these games, to basically contribute to that cause. And the DLC hasn't been too expensive. I know a lot of people thought that the Coon DLC pack was a little bit overpriced. Maybe it was. It's not my point to necessarily say one way or the other, but it is what it is. And but I have used it. We'll probably use some of the Coon DLC pack on this map whenever we get around to doing some of that stuff or needing some of that stuff. Maybe the baler. As far as the Big Bud Pack DLC goes, once I get a little bit more time, obviously that won't happen until we get done with this challenge, because it's probably going to be quite a stretch for me to kind of keep doing my Let's Play on Mountain Valley Farm, and then do this, because again, 72 episodes. This has got to be done by November 1st, and you know, you might be thinking to yourself, well, November's still quite a ways away, but it's going to be here before we know it. And but I probably will use the Big Bud DLC once I kind of get off this map. And let's see, when do you think you'll do multiplayer again? You know, I don't know, Orange Mojo. I've got a multiplayer server, and I set it all up, and it's not been played. As a matter of fact, the company that I leased the server from, they basically shut the server off, or they sort of put it into standby if nobody's logged in for, I think it's 15 days or so. And they've put it into standby a couple of times over the last month or so, and so I think it's still in standby right now. But maybe I'll get around to doing that again. Of course, Icelandic Farmer is running multiplayer servers through PCSG. So if you're not a member of the PCSG community, I would ask you why not. It's a great community. Go over and sign up for that. You can find the link to PCSG down below in my video notes down there. And we'll cut a couple of more trees down, and then we'll go sell these. It's coming up on 3 o'clock in the afternoon here on Goldcrest Valley. Orange Mojo says he doesn't have any DLC. They seem expensive. And again, I fully support you thinking that. I don't really have any way of gauging what the values of them are. Again, I've kind of the reason why I purchased them. Obviously, you know, everyone has their own reasons, and you know, quite honestly, you know, much of what is represented in these DLC packs is available through mods, or will be available through mods. Mods are obviously very important to this game, and while we're talking about the importance of mods, especially if we have any new people that haven't caught one of my previous streams, folks, we don't always treat our modding community very well. And I say the word we just simply because I'm not calling out anybody in this stream, and I'm certainly not calling out myself, but I'm just talking about the folks that are deemed players within our community. We have had folks that have done some really bad things with mods, like, for example, you know, tweaking them in such a way and then claiming that they are the original mod author and uploading them to questionable mod sites and all that kind of stuff. Some of our modders, some of our very talented modders, like folks like Stevie, for example, have decided that, you know, he's done. He was going to retire anyway for other reasons, but he has retired early because of the fact that somebody used some of his stuff and claimed it as their own, and he's just kind of tired of it. So, okay, thanks, Orange Mojo. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I tell you what, I mean, with regards to the multiplayer stuff, because, you know, I'm meeting a lot of new friends in this interest of doing this challenge and live streaming and everything. If when we get sort of done with this, because I think that between the challenge and between just sort of keeping a Let's Play kind of going for those folks that want to continue watching that style of play on Farm Sim 17, kind of once maybe this is all over, I'll see what sort of time I have, and if it makes sense to kind of start a multiplayer server, then I'll consider that. There's a lot of work that's involved to setting up a multiplayer server. I mean, basically, if you think about how much work goes into your individual self setting up, that'll be an insurance claim on that van. If you think about the amount of time that you spend setting up for a new play on a new map, getting all of your equipment chosen that you want to play with and everything, then then it just kind of takes almost double that effort to get everything for multiplayer server. Ross Redmond says, can you give my brother Ryan a shout out? Well, I don't necessarily do shout outs. I will welcome both you and Ryan to the stream. But as far as anything other than that, advertising your channel or anything like that, I don't do that. But I'll say hi to you, and many of the others will say hi as well. Brian James says, bedtime for me, Grizz, 3 a.m. See you tonight. Your time. Okay. Hopefully, now I will tell you that tonight is date night. My wife and I are going on a date. If you've been following my channel and my videos and everything, you know that my wife has had a heck of a time. She's been sick for quite a long time, and she's really just started to feel better in the last maybe month or so, 6 weeks. And so she and I are, we just got back from vacation last week, and so again, we are going out tonight. So I may not have a stream tonight. My apologies, but you know, I live my life the following way. My family, God, my job, and that kind of stuff obviously always comes first. It's not that I don't care about you guys, because you're all my friends and I appreciate getting to know you and everything, but I put those kind of things first, always. Always put those things first. All right, so I just noticed something. We've got a whole bunch of eggs in our pocket, and here's a place that we can go sell them. So we're going to maximize our time here and sell some eggs. $587 in eggs. Ladies and gentlemen, my pockets were weighted down. Let's see if there's any gold nuggets over here. I can't remember if there's a gold nugget behind this house or not. I guess I was wrong. I guess there is not one, so that's okay. You know, I was joking with Farmer Klein through his channel, through his videos. And Farmer Klein was out hunting gold nuggets in one of his episodes, and he said something like, he said, yeah, he's not going to, he wasn't going to basically use the fly mode, you know, the mode that you can fly around to get up on the buildings where some of the gold's stored. There's about, I think, 3 or 4 gold nuggets that's on top of buildings. And of course, I'm not going to do that either. I'm not going to fly to find those. I will get the telehandler and we'll come up and get those off the roof with the telehandler. But I was joking with him and saying, yeah, but you know, even though we're not, you know, and I told him, I said, I'm not going to use that method either, the fly method, but we're running around in other people's backyards, and we're bringing a telehandler up to a business and raising the boom up and climbing up on top of the business, the roof of the business, or running around in somebody's backyard. I said, in some places of the country, that's a good way to get shot. And of course, you know, that's just a joke, obviously. But yeah, so we have asked permission from all of these landowners to go and prospect on their land to get the gold nuggets, and of course we will do that, but we'll do that sort of at our own time. I think we've got 5 or 6 in our little pack now, and of course once we get to 10, then of course we will see where all the gold nuggets are on the map, and we'll definitely go after them. Getting our log trailer loaded up here. Try not to block traffic too much here. Of course, we got some spillage there, but that's okay too. We'll just kind of push some of this stuff out of the way. I'm trying to get as many logs on here as possible. Kind of efficiency and all that kind of stuff is key, and that's probably enough for this first load. And let's see, let's look at the chat here. Just at work watching you. Well, thanks for watching me while you work. Don't get in trouble with your boss. But as long as your boss either doesn't find out or you can multitask, then thanks for watching. I appreciate it. It really helps pass the time. That's the one reason why I live stream is it helps pass the time, and also I get a chance to meet new friends. I met Chris through my channel, and he's been a good friend of mine. Chris and I have exchanged emails, and Chris has really been a cheerleader for me with my wife's sickness and everything, and I appreciate his time, taking time to reach out to me and email me from time to time and say hello and stuff like that, so I appreciate that. Hello, PCSG. PCSG, folks, I talked about PCSG just a few minutes ago. You'll find the link down below. Please go and sign up for an account over there. It's the best community for simulation-based gaming on the PC, naturally, that you will find on the entire interwebs. And we pride ourselves, and I say we because I am a moderator, administrator sort of thing over there, and so we're all, most of us that are part of the moderating team and everything are older in our years. Some of us are older than others, and I won't call out names. I won't. I'm talking about Reefy 1952, Mr. Meerman, of course. Excuse me. But anyway, we're all mature, and we treat people with a level of respect and maturity. If you have a question, we're not going to bash you over the head for asking the question, nor are we going to tell you to search for the answer. We're going to try to help you as best as we possibly can. We've got a lot of knowledge that is contained within our brains over there. And so if you have a question, if you're new to this, and we understand that a lot of people are new to this game or any simulation-based game, we've got people that have the knowledge to help you with your struggles, with your issues. Plus, we've got a pretty darn good collection of mods. You know, I mentioned a few minutes ago that we haven't been nice to the modding community as a whole. And some of our modders have sort of decided to give things up and stop modding. Stevie was one of those, and Stevie is arguably, and I think I say this, and I think others will agree with me, that Stevie is probably one of the best map developers that has ever been for Farm Sim, and he has decided to retire. But we have all of his mods over at PCSG. So don't worry, they're not going to evaporate. We've got his Farm Sim 15 mods, and we also have his Farm Sim 17 stuff as well. So Stevie's name and Stevie's artwork, and that's really what it is, that's what these things are, is pieces of art. They will continue to live, and you can enjoy those and get those through PCSG. All right, let's see, I've missed some chat. Let's see, Scott says, just at work watching you, and he says, I am boss for this site. Okay, well, that's also a good thing. You can tend to get away with maybe a little bit more when you are the boss. Cool. Simon Williams says, I'm off to deal with real life stuff. Enjoy the video. All right, Simon, well, that's going to be me as well. I'm going to have to, as soon as we get up to about 9 o'clock or so here, we're coming up on 1800 hours or 6 p.m. I will also have to get off and do some things. My wife has a rather long honey-do list of stuff that I've got to do. And, you know, when the boss calls, and of course here at home, I'm not afraid to admit this, guys. I know that there's some guys might be a little bit too macho to admit this, but let me tell you, the boss in my house, yep, is my wife. I am not afraid to admit that. But no, she is. She's extremely understanding and extremely supporting of my hobbies. Of my interests, and I have many hobbies and I have many interests that expand even outside of the PC simulation gaming realm. But she's very supportive of all that stuff. She's very supportive of my YouTube channel and my efforts and the time that it sort of takes to do this kind of stuff. And she's always very understanding when I say, all right, honey, I'm going downstairs and going to do a live stream or whatever. She's very understanding about that stuff, and She gives me, understands to give me the time and everything. But there's also stuff that we got to do around the house, and yeah. So I'm not afraid to admit that I take my orders from my wife. But she's a wonderful person. As I almost flip our log trailer. I flipped the log trailer back in episode number 6, I think it was, or 7, and I kept working at it, kept reversing and kept turning the steering wheel, and I finally got it to upright itself. So I got lucky on that, because if I would have had to have reset it, most likely I would have lost all the logs in it. And each load of logs, if they're stacked as tight and as nice as they are on this load, it's worth about $25,000 to $30,000 per load. And so all the effort of cutting them down, and you guys watching all that and everything, we have to make sure that we capitalize on that and make as much money as possible. We've got lots of trees that we can cut all the way up and down the road here to the sawmill, so we will kind of, I think, maybe move this direction as we cut more logs over the next, I suppose, 2.5 years or so. We've got, we're not even halfway through yet, I don't think. Let's see, 6 game days per season times 4 seasons, 24 days. This is episode number 9, so yeah, we're not even through the first half of the year yet. Simon says, where did you get that log trailer mod from? This log trailer, speaking of Stevie, this log trailer is one of Stevie's mods, and you'll find this log trailer on PCSG. So that's where you can get it from, and there should be a link in my mod spreadsheet, and I believe that link to the mod spreadsheet should point to PCSG. If it doesn't, it may just mean that I have failed to update it to point it away from Stevie's Google Drive, but this is one of Stevie's conversions, and boy, is it a nice one. Now, Stevie also has a semi-truck that he converted as well, and I usually use that one, but it's a little more expensive, and money, sort of every penny counts on this sort of on this map, on this play, and so I did opt to go with the Mac. The Mac is a very nice mod, by the way. If you haven't seen it, that's what the interior looks like. You can move the camera around a little bit. It's very nice. The only thing that don't really work well is the mirrors can't be moved. But I don't do a lot of first-person driving anyway, but it kind of gets grimy inside, which is kind of cool, and it's, obviously it's an old truck. So it's very nice, and it's cheap. It's not too cheap. Part of the challenge is that we have to use reasonably priced mods, so we can't use a mod that hauls like 1,000 logs and costs $1. We can't do that. Obviously it needs to be somewhat realistic, but this is a cheaper truck simply because it's an older truck. It's not as powerful as Stevie's modded truck is, but if you're not really concerned about costs, then I would encourage you to get that log truck, because it's nice looking and it works very well. All right, just rinse and repeat. It's kind of the theme here. So while we're talking about themes, I would appreciate it if you guys are new to the channel. Hit that like button, please, and also consider subscribing. And also, if you are also new to the channel and you're maybe wondering about my giveaway and what in the world all that's about, I will tell you, and I'm also going to tell you what the word of the day is. In order for you to enter the challenge and be considered to win the challenge, you must be a subscriber of mine, so please go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're interested in signing up for the giveaway, as we try to get that one piece of wood there. Come on. There we go. So the challenge is going to work like this. Obviously, I just mentioned a few minutes ago that this challenge, or this series, is going to be 72 episodes long, and with each episode I provide a code word. I provide a word of the day. Okay, pretty simple. Word of the day. for each episode, and so that entitles you, if you watch each and every 72 episodes of what it's going to take to get this job done, you can enter a contest, or enter my contest, to have a chance to win one of three of the brand new Farm Sim 17 Platinum expansion pack that will come out in November from Giants. This is the expansion DLC that will provide a new map, as I run over that stump, a new map, and also a new crop type, sugarcane, and some new equipment, obviously, to play with that sugarcane. And so during each episode, I provide the word of the day, and there's information on how you send me that word of the day, which proves that you've watched my episode, that you were either here during the live stream or you watched it on the recorded archive, the replay. So that's perfectly acceptable. I understand that not everybody can be here during the live play, and you can always catch the live stream, or the live stream replay is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so with the word of the day, you send me that word of the day with an email that's formatted in such a way that it makes it easy for me to enter you in the contest, and I will enter you in the contest. And then I will do the drawing on November the 6th. It's a Sunday is when I'm going to do the drawing. We have to be done, the challengers that are participating in this challenge have to be done by November 1st. So I'm hoping I'm done a little bit before then. But regardless of that, I will do the drawing on the 6th of November. It's a Sunday. And come on, get off there, log. And we'll do the drawing and then award the DLC. Now the DLC won't actually be available until the 15th or 14th of... Whoa, stop loading. Hang on just a second. Stop auto load. I had hit that button, but it didn't register. But anyway, the DLC won't be out until the 14th or 15th of November, something like that. And of course, that's subject to Giants, getting it done and there not being any problems. You guys know the drill. Things are released when they're ready. We don't like for things to be rushed, obviously, because when things get rushed, things often cause us problems. So anyway, the word of the day today is the word grow. G-R-O-W is the word. Obviously, we want our crops to grow because we want them to be able to harvest them in the next day or two or three, and we want our yields to be high. So the word of the day is grow. G-R-O-W. Simon says, thanks for the info, by the way, and hello from New Zealand. Well, hello to you, Simon. Thanks for stopping by. Must be getting quite late, or quite early, I suppose, maybe there for you in New Zealand. So thank you for hanging out with us on your Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Hope you have a very blessed Sunday morning to you, sir. So also, if you're new to the challenge, obviously part of the rules of the challenge, the guidelines of the challenge, is that we can use the seasons mod functionality to skip the nighttime. And as long as we do Alt-N before midnight, it'll sort of fast forward through the night for us and then basically get us back to the next game day. It varies. At the start time of the game day, it's basically around sun up, and so obviously in the summertime our days are longer, and so we get a little bit more work time done. And of course, we could do 24 hours. We could just basically farm or do whatever 24 hours a day. That may be some folks' strategy. I am trying to play it a bit realistic in the sense that the human being, the human just cannot go too many days in a row without sleep. And so working from roughly 4 something in the morning until 9, 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, that's hard enough as it is. So that was a pretty good loaded trailer there. That had quite a few sticks on it. But anyway, trying to do things as realistic as possible, but also some things just completely go out the window. Obviously, I'm using an auto-loading trailer because it's allowed, and as you can imagine, it would take a lifetime to load a trailer. I mean, the amount of time that it probably takes me to drive from the log where the logs are sort of stacked to the sell point and back, it would probably take me twice that amount of time to load the log trailer itself if I had to do it manually. And that might be a cool feature of a challenge going forward, but I would have to probably say that you couldn't do that at 15x speed and it'd be fun for anybody. I think it would be just too, it would just be too stressful and but anyway, 2:46 a.m. for Simon in New Zealand. Well, sleep well, my friend, and hope you get a chance to sleep late. Here for me, it's coming up on 9 a.m. It's about 10 minutes to 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. I am in Denver, Colorado, the Mile High City as they call it, because we are, our elevation above sea level is 5480, something like that, which is a mile in feet, and so therefore we are known as the Mile High City. If you are an American football fan, then I'm sure, regardless of whether you're a Bronco fan or not, and just by the way, I'm not a Bronco fan, I'm a fan of another team, but then I'm sure if you're a football fan, American football fan, you're probably familiar with Mile High Stadium. You've probably watched your favorite team play football there, and the winters, the games in the winter time, it can be quite interesting. It's kind of funny because the climate here in Denver, a lot of people have sort of the misconception that we've got snow in the ground from, like, you know, October until May, and that's not really the case. Yeah, we do have snow, and we can get snow at many weird times of the year and all that kind of stuff, but it's not like that. It's not like, I mean, there's certain areas of the country that is a lot worse as far as snow on the ground and all that stuff for consecutive periods of time, and Denver is not necessarily one of those. It can actually be quite mild. As a matter of fact, there are times that we can have snow in the ground like one day, and it'll be on the ground for a couple of days, and we can actually go out and play golf a couple of days later. And that's even in the winter time. It's funny because we have over, according to the weatherman and the people that keep track of all this kind of stuff, we have over 300 days of sunshine each year. That sort of rivals Florida, for those of you that are familiar with that. We certainly got more days of sunshine than you folks do over across the pond, over in the jolly old England and stuff like that. We've got a lot more days of sunshine than you guys do, but yeah, that's sort of our statistic. That's information that maybe is useful to you, and who knows, maybe it's not, but you'll hear all kinds of stuff here on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. And if you're ever in a maybe in a pub quiz contest or something, and somebody says approximately how many days of sunshine does the Mile High City of Denver, Colorado have, you know it's over 300, so that might help you win a pint or something, and you can thank me later for that. All right, well, this is our last load of logs, and this should bring us up around maybe 270,000, something like that. If you were with me last night, you know that this is pretty much what we did last night. I also streamed earlier this morning, and we pretty much did this exact same thing. We did buy 4 greenhouses. I'm sorry, not 4. We bought 2 greenhouses to bring a total of 4 greenhouses that we have. So they're going to be doing good to make us some money, while all it really takes is just put some water in them and put a little bit of manure in them. PCSG says it's been very hot for a change in the UK recently. Yeah, you know, I'm kind of surprised that I'm not there actually, because usually when I come over to Belgium and the UK, which I do every other year in the summertime, it almost always never fails that you guys have a heat wave that comes along. And my mother and father-in-law, for good reason, they don't have air conditioning because they don't need it. There's only like 2 or 3 days a year, sort of in the best case scenario, where you don't need air conditioning, and so we're almost always there during that time frame. $277,000, so good. We are filling our bank account up nicely. I still, you know, if you guys have some thoughts, I'm gonna tap your brains just a little bit here. And sorry about that. I touched my microphone with my finger, so hopefully that didn't blow your eardrums out. But here's the deal. What do you think? Should we, you know, knowing the fact that our harvest season is only going to be a game day or two, consist of that, should we just basically lease our harvester, or should we consider buying the harvester? You know, keeping in mind that investing in the Scorpion King, that was a big investment. It's $317,000, I think it was, but we have used that thing and we have made quite a bit of money. We have probably made a couple of $100,000. Who knows? Maybe by now we've actually probably paid for it. I think we probably have. I can pull up that statistic in just a minute, but I think we've probably paid for the Scorpion King. But I'm sort of thinking that maybe to just try to keep from wasting money on paying for the daily maintenance costs while the harvester and the header are sitting under a barn for the majority of the year. I'm sort of thinking that we are going to be in better shape to lease the harvester and lease the header. And in that way, when we're done with it, we turn it back in and the costs stop. And because we're going to have to play this map for 3 years, over 72 episodes, I'm thinking that leasing is going to be our friend. It makes sense to buy certain pieces of equipment. It made sense to buy this truck and this trailer because we've been using it every day, and we've probably paid for it as well. But I think that maybe leasing is going to be our better option, and that's a completely different strategy from what I'm used to, because normally I buy everything just because I like to have it. But all right, so it's 10 o'clock. We could fast forward the night if we wanted to, but we need to do a few things. We need to get our eggs, because our eggs, this little place here only holds so many eggs, and we're not going to become millionaires off of the selling of eggs, but we sold a whole bunch a few minutes ago and got $500 out of it. So every penny counts. So we're basically going to go and clean up after our sheep, because we want to make sure they stay productive as much as possible. So Shaky says lease. Ethan Wickett says, "What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? Explain that to me. Are you talking about? Are you wanting me to explain what I mean about leasing or buying?" So basically, you might be new to the channel here, Ethan. So thank you for stopping by and watching. I appreciate that. Please click the like and please click the subscribe button. I'll tell you what the word of the day is in just a minute again, one more time. So this is a challenge that I have entered into. There's about 5 or 6 others that are also participating in the challenge. We're all playing the same map. We all started off with the exact same thing. We're playing in hard mode. We're playing with the seasons mod. We're playing with 6 game days per year. We're playing at 15x speed. And we're all, all under the same guidelines, and we can do whatever we want to as far as equipment goes, as long as the equipment is reasonably priced and all that good kind of stuff. And so basically, we've got to play this for 3 years, 3 seasons years, which will be 72 episodes. This is episode number 9 as a point of reference, so you realize that we've still got a long ways to go. And so yeah, so we are doing traditional farming, but I think that, again, I think leasing might be the best option. So I'm seeking your guys' advice because I value it. I value it tremendously. All right, so it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm tired. This is my second stream of the morning. My voice is starting to go. I think my wife is probably awake and she's going to be ready to get me started doing my honeydew projects. And so we're going to just basically come out here and we're going to come outside and let's see. The word of the day, again, the word of the day is the word grow, G-R-O-W, G-R-O-W. We want our plants and stuff to grow so that we can make money. So here we go. We've cut down 195 trees. We did 41 today. So let's see where it says about how much money we've made on sold wood. So we've sold a lot of wood. 119,000 on Saturday, 91,000 Sunday, 97 yesterday, 93 today. So yeah, we've more than paid for the Scorpion King, the truck, and the trailer with that. And we've still got more wood to cut down, obviously. So our plant growth and all that kind of stuff, as I just quickly show that to you, is we're all doing fine there. Our plant growth is at the final stage, so hopefully it'll be ready to harvest in the next game day or two. But then again, we've got rain coming up on Thursday, so just my luck, that'll be the day that the harvest will be ready to be harvested, and of course we'll have wet crop and we can't harvest. So I will save the game, and I'm going to basically do Alt N, and that will fast forward through the night while we rest. You can hear me snoring. We're back in our game day, so the days are getting a little bit shorter now. We started in the previous game day at 4 something in the morning. Now we're at 5 o'clock in the morning. We can still work till 9 if we want to. And I'm going to go ahead and click escape and click save one more time. And then I'm going to go ahead and quit the game and end the stream. So thank you all so much for stopping by. I would appreciate it again if you would subscribe. If you're interested in entering the contest, please be a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber and I draw your name, you're not going to win. So that's sort of the deal. That's the trade-off, is you be a subscriber, and if I draw your name, you'll win the prize. And I've got everything spelled out down below on how you can enter the contest and all that good stuff. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I've done 2 streams this morning. I need to go do some honeydew projects. It's date night tonight, so I probably will not stream tonight. I might, but I don't know if I will. Obviously, if you're a subscriber, you'll get a notification of when I do stream. And I just want to remind everybody, I just see that Nightbot posting coming up there talking about rated G for all audiences. I run my streams and my channel rated G for all audiences. So feel free, if you have children, if you have grandchildren that are interested in farming, feel free to set them down in front of YouTube, in front of my channel, or in front of my live streams. You will never hear anything that you would not want your grandchild or your child to hear. I run my streams G-rated at all times, everything. And so if you've got children that enjoy Farm Sim, feel free to park them down in front of my channel. You can't do that with everybody's channel, but with my channel you can, and I appreciate if you would do that and expose Farm Sim, expose the wonderful game of Farm Sim to your kids. I'm sure they'll love you for it. And thank you all so much for watching. Take good care of yourselves. God bless you all. Have a wonderful Saturday, or even Sunday if it's that calendar day for you, if you're watching from another corner of the world. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.